Having a chance to reflect on it now, I know the 2 wins are nice, but really nice. What do you think of the Alaska trip? The experience for the guys?
It was good. It was good to get out of town. I think guys were excited to, number one, get playing, but it was nice to go on the road early after a long month of September and part of August. Like I think I've told you that before. So obviously the end results were good. So overall, it was a good trip.
This week, how have you had to manage things for the guys so that they can recover and be ready?
Yeah, we took Monday off, and then we had a lighter skate yesterday, and so get back at it again today. But again, it probably won't be super long. You know, we got to work on some things, and got a couple days here to get ready for Friday. He's going to be out probably at least a month. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Somewhere in there.
somewhere in there. Okay, around a month.
So
What are your biggest takeaways looking at what this team did on the ice? Obviously, the starts both nights we talked about were
yeah, that was important. Obviously, I liked our Friday game much better than Saturday. I thought the first periods were good both nights. I think we were more opportunistic Saturday. Friday, I thought our guys had good jump coming out, and it's nice when you score early in the game, especially for the freshman line. Kind of built off that. I thought our top line came as advertised. I thought they were really good, especially Friday. I think they, did what they did in the first game last year. They scored 3 goals for us. But Adam had a good weekend too, which was important for him to get off to a good start. Disappointed that he didn't get a shutout or 2. We fell asleep on Saturday. When you get to that point, you want your goaltender to get that, because it's good reflection of team defense too. But he was good for us, so that was an important start. So there was a lot of really good things. I thought Saturday our execution level wasn't nearly as good as it was Friday, but the game was probably the most painful game I've been involved in. As far as length of game and stoppages, and it shouldn't take nearly 3 hours to play a game that doesn't go to overtime. So, and it was a little bit disjointed too, with some penalties, and there was a lot more flow, I thought, on Friday than Saturday. And but you got to fight. You got to find ways to fight through that too. And I thought their team, especially the second halves of both games, I thought they played hard, and they were close. We got Saturday, a disallowed goal that went in our favor that could have changed momentum, and but it was just overall it was a good weekend and 2 different games in my opinion. But I liked our starts. I liked some of the things, obviously, with our top line. I liked the fact that I think our freshmen got off to a good start, and our new guys did a good job too. It's nice to see Scout score a couple goals. So it was nice to see some different scoring on Saturday. Obviously, Bensey gets a big goal too, and so there was a lot of 5-on-5 goals. Probably the thing that we didn't like was we didn't score a power play goal. So that can be good and bad. That we scored some 5-on-5 goals, but not the power play. And then the penalty kill did their job. And Adam was a big part of that.
that freshman line. Some of what you saw in Fairbanks, what you see out of that group in the preseason. What do you think?
Yeah, they're talented players, and Danny's a very responsible center. He plays 200 feet of the rink. The other 2, like I said, Hunter's got a great stick, as evidenced on his goal. A good tip on Friday, and I thought they had a really good game on Friday. I thought Saturday they looked a little bit more like freshmen, but I think part of that was just the game not getting into a rhythm and flow. Those guys didn't really kill penalties or be on a power play, so it was hard that stretch, especially with the major. But those are things they have to go through and learn. Kids come from programs where, whether it's junior hockey or wherever, and they're used to playing sometimes big minutes and counted on. But you get here, we're still going to count on them, but they have to adjust to some of those games where maybe they don't get the ice time that they're used to getting in the previous years. So, but they're good. They complement each other, and they could be a really good line over time.
I talked to Gary yesterday, at Alexandria. I talked to you about it yesterday too. And you mentioned, the importance of the portal, obviously, in getting that program built from scratch in 2025. When you came in here, one of the things you had to do was try to balance out the classes. How important was that for you as you're building this program? To try to get the classes balanced out so you didn't have a big class of 11, 12 seniors.
Well, it was a lot harder back then than it is now, for sure, because you can go and get 1 or 2 or 3 year players to help balance those classes. Where before you had those kids, if they did leave, they had to sit a year. So it was much like you look at how long it took Penn State even to get going, right? Under the old rules. You look at the newer programs now, they're being successful a lot quicker. And a big part of that is the portal. So, but yeah, it was harder back then for sure. And we did have to go recruit some bigger classes because we were doing some turnover and you're trying to find, the guys that were here that after that first year kind of fit how we wanted to play. And some did a great job, some lacked some confidence maybe, and gained some confidence maybe over the time they were here. But some of those guys that I inherited had some really good years. But it's totally different than it was back then, Bruce. I wish it was then. I think you could have probably built it a little bit quicker, but I think you're seeing that now with the new programs.
That freshman line, Matt mentioned, the impact they made Friday. How much of that do you think comes from them being able to build some confidence in their game and the way that they play together through practices in September?
Well, that's a big part of it. I think obviously Daniel and Hunter have history together, right? So, they played last year in Lincoln together. At the end of the year, they played in Shattuck together, so they're familiar with each other, and that instant chemistry and that bond with those guys is different than having Z on that line, right? But we moved him there early because I felt, those three, it was kind of in my head when we recruited them that I think, the other thing, Hunter can play either wing, so he's actually, I think, more comfortable on his off wing, so he gives us some flexibility there too in our lineup. But no, they're smart. They bring some different elements to their game. And the nice part is like I said, Daniel's very responsible through the middle, and that's important as a centerman, especially a young centerman, to have some of those details in his game that he's going to be responsible with and without the puck, and allows those other guys to play a little bit too.
All the work that players do now in the offseason, whether it's just weight training and off ice stuff, getting on the ice, are summer habits still a thing? You still have to kick those in September and October as the season gets started?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a lot different. You can see it too as the weeks go by in September. It's more of it's just how hard you have to work, and you have to hard work needs to be consistent. Where the summer you can work as hard as you want, but it takes time. It takes time to get back into that competitive mindset. It takes time to get back into playing the game for the right reasons and not just skill stuff. And that's why we don't like. I don't like a lot of scrimmages like early without coaches, and I don't think the players do either, because they'd rather get to work on things in practice. But you have to scrimmage to try and put your players in game situations that are a little more realistic going into the year. But there's nothing like actual games. They're a lot different, and every game has its own identity, and some are harder, some are more physical, some are faster, some are slower, like we saw on Saturday. So it's a lot different, but yeah, you still got to get rid of some of those habits. And then when you have a lot of new guys, there's terminology, there's things that maybe system-wise that, they're used to, coming from wherever they come from. And if you're different than that, it takes time to get adjusted to that.
How long has this series been in the works?
Which one?
This series with Augustana, how long has this been in the works?
Last couple of years. Last couple of years we talked. So we'll go back there next year. So I know I've known Rabs for a long time, and like I said, they've done a good job with an upstart program. They're a good hockey team, and they're going to make some noise in that league, and it'll be a great challenge. Again, it was really good just watching some of the game against St. Cloud. It was a good hockey game for early season, and but it's nice too. It'll be good to go down there too, and another team that's fairly close. So we're pretty lucky that way with our, where we are and being in our league and having two other leagues that you can play non-conference against without having to travel a long way, and you're playing really quality teams. So that's a bonus.
You talked already this season about the strength and the depth of the center position. Something we've talked about for every year you've been coach, but why is that position so important to the systems you're running? What do you look for?
Well, I don't think it's per se important to systems. I just think it's good to have smart centermen. And again, not that we did what we didn't before, but I like that we have a little more size through the middle. Covey's 6'2", Daniel's 6'1", Gaff's almost 6'1", so it's nice to have some bigger centermen. We've had some smaller centermen before, but I just like two of them have a lot of college experience. And Daniel, the freshman, coming from Shattuck, coming from where he's come, like I said, a lot of really good details to his game. And then, of course, you got Zam, right? I mean, actually, that whole top line, all three of them could play in the middle, right? Shocks could play there, Max can play there. The nice thing, too, on our second line, per se, is Cal played in the middle last year, so you got another guy that can take draws. He's a righty, Gaffney's a lefty, so we've got it's deeper, but I like the makeup of the group. I think there's some good size. I think there's good skill. I think there's guys that are good on both sides of the puck. And that is important in our system because obviously, when they got to play down low, you got to have guys that are comfortable with that and are good at it and understand, positioning and their responsibilities. So, but it's just a better group for some of those reasons I just said.
I think you mentioned last year when playing Stonehill that you actually, look forward to playing, fresh faces in these matchups. What is the importance of, some of these colleges that have been around for a while facing colleges that are just starting off in the Division I ranks?
It's more pressure, right? You're expected to win, right? Especially like last year, Stonehill, they have nothing to lose. But for me, getting to play them, it's important for them to play teams, especially when they're an independent. At least Augustana's got a league, right? And they're going to be very, very competitive near the top of the CCHA, I think, by the time the year is done. And I think that's going to be no different moving forward in that league. Obviously, next year we get St. Thomas. But, yeah, you look for the best competition, right? And I think we've never shied away from having a really tough non-conference schedule. And that can be different year to year based on, if you can look at it and go, yeah, you want to play this team because they're good, but they might have a down year. But they're still good programs. And like I said, for me with Augustana, having the opportunity to play them, he's a friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. I recruited him, actually. But they're a good hockey program, and they're close, and it makes a lot of sense, It's no different than playing the Mankato's or Bemidji's and teams they're good hockey teams. And, again, you want good competition. And this weekend will be good competition.
I'm gonna get Garrett, or just trying to recruit him to here or North Dakota?
Yeah, I remember when he was playing at Lincoln, yeah.
Coach, you have your first series of the season at home this year. How important is it for you and the guys to take care of business here at the Arizona?
Well, yeah, it's important. I talked about it on the road. I said, you want to be a good team, you got to learn to win on the road. So we had a good start to that last weekend, but again, you still got to, make this a hard place to play. And I don't think last year or the year before was a really hard place to play. And again, you want to win every game you play, but you don't want teams coming in here and thinking it's going to be easy. But yeah, you got to win. But I just think you always go, oh, you win games at home and then you split on the road or take care of things on the road. No, you're in it to win every game. And again, you can play great and not win, but we do want to start well. I think it's exciting. We got our parents coming in. It's our parents' weekend. We do it early in the year, so again, that's cool. I think it's the only UMD sporting event in town this weekend, so hopefully we get a good crowd and get people behind it, because that's when this building is fun. And I can tell you, there's some fun players to watch in this team. So if you want to see them live, come to the game. But yeah, we're in it. We're in every game to win, and hopefully Friday's a good start for us on the weekend.
And then you mentioned Scout Truman, great weekend for him, first with the Bulldogs, a couple of goals. What does his leadership and experience in college hockey mean to the rest of the younger guys in the locker room?
Well, I think it's the way you can see you can tell he's played college hockey. I mean, again, they play with a different, confidence level. I was very impressed with him. Like, I think, you never know. You see certain things in practice, but it was nice, again, for him to score a couple goals. But I thought he played a really good game. I mean, there were some great effort plays, beat out at some icings. I thought he played physically when he had to. So, again, it was a good start, because we're going to need more than Zam's line to score. And that's why I said it was nice to see him score. I know one was an empty netter, but and Shoggs made a great play on it was a little bit of a mixed line change because, on his first goal. But it was just nice to see. It was nice to see Harper Benz score. So we got contributions from different lines, and we had Ty score on the back end. So hopefully we can find more offense there too. But we're going to need some balanced scoring. And if we can continue to have guys chip in and score, we know that Zam and those guys are going to get their opportunities and probably produce most games, But teams are going to key on them, and, we need secondary guys behind there to score. And I think with those guys having played college hockey, like Gaffney and him, I mean, we're counting on their experience and what they can bring, and that's why they were recruited to come in here to play kind of top 6 minutes, top 9 minutes, and power play guys, and that's where they were before, and hopefully they can continue to produce. But it was a good start. So hopefully that gives him, a little shot in the arm too.
We hear from a lot of teams in the area that the road trips are the ones that build the camaraderie. Obviously, kind of a long road trip for you guys this last week. Were there any moments on or off the ice that you kind of found that, the boys were getting together more?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't, it was, we got in there late and we left late, so there really wasn't a whole lot of time. But, one of the coolest things I thought when we were waiting to get on the bus to go to the airport, they are all out there playing their whatever game, sewer ball or whatever they're playing. I don't even know what they played and what they call it, but the whole group was playing. And I thought that was pretty cool just to see that. And we had to wait till they finished the game to leave, so that might have told you it was an important game. But I thought that was pretty cool. Like, maybe a little thing, but I thought that was fun to watch. Okay.
Shogs and Cal. We hear you have dad jokes. Can you get us one here? I'm gonna put you on
Okay,
the
I got one. So usually if someone's looking for something and they can't find it, I'll always just point and say, "There it isn't."
That's the one that was shared on the podcast. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a go-to. It's a go-to.
As soon as I heard that, I went, I am using that on Jack.
Oh, they hate it. They hate it.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will too. But I'm
Yeah.
tired of him asking where something is, and it's literally sitting right next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't use that one. He's
Can't
seven.
use that one.
He's seven.
Seven.
Ty, what'd you think of the Alaska trip? Nice to get 2 wins, but overall, what'd you think of the trip?
Yeah, that was good. It's always good to go on the road early in the year to kind of build as a group. And yeah, it's just even better to come home with 2 wins, kind of get everyone acclimated to each other. You learn different things about each other being on the road and kind of living with people. So yeah, I thought it was really good just for the whole group.
Can you give me one Alaskan thing you would have liked to do that you didn't get to do?
I wish I would have saw a moose. I didn't see a moose. Really wanted to.
They're big.
Yeah.
That was also Cal's response. Didn't get to see this. What did you think of the series and what was key for the team getting the 2 wins?
I think it was pretty obvious. We had a fast start both games. I think that was pretty crucial in what we wanted to do up there and just kind of give them no time to kind of get back into it. So we got off to a quick start both games, and I think that was key.
Coach had harped a lot last season before you had got here. I think he'd been harping on it for a while. Was it almost a sense of relief that you guys were able to do that? And how do you continue to have those fast starts as the season goes on?
A little bit, yeah. I think it's just kind of keeping the energy up off ice, even in the warm-ups. Just it kind of carries over. So if we can keep the energy up off ice, playing our soccer and just warming up together, I think it'll help on the ice too.
Ty, what does it mean to have some veteran transfers coming in, and what if you don't have a lot of older guys? Your sophomore class is almost one of the older groups on this team right now. What's it meant to have guys like Scout and Kyle Gaffney and Kovic and that kind of come in and be guys that can help lead the team? What kind of impact have they made off the ice so far?
Yeah, it's big. Obviously, their maturity in just the college game is probably the number one thing. Just leaning on them with questions that I may have with whatever it may be with school or kind of anything on ice stuff too, because they've seen a lot of games, they've played a lot of hockey. So I think that's just the biggest piece is their maturity and kind of being able to lean on them in tough situations.
Speaking of fast starts, Ryan, your line scored on his first shift. I feel like Max and Sam and Shogs were so jealous they went out and scored on their first shift the next night. But for you guys, what was that moment like? You guys going out there and scoring on that first shift Friday night?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I don't think we necessarily expected it, but we expect to score. We play fast, so I think it was just almost a confidence booster that it happened so quick. But I mean, obviously, can't be satisfied with that. It's not going to happen every night, but starting fast is definitely going to be a big thing for our line and the whole team.
The 3, what'd you think of the weekend you guys put together your first weekend of college hockey?
I thought it was good. The first game especially really good. Second game not so hot, but I think that's going to come. We're learning to play together. Haven't played together ever before this year, obviously. We work well in practice. We're super good friends off the ice, which I think will help translate to on the ice. And it's just going to be a matter of putting weekends together, not just being satisfied with one night and then taking the next night off, which obviously we don't intend to do, but it could happen. So I think communicating as a line will definitely help, and just making sure we're playing a full 60 each game.
Coach was talking just now about your center, Daniel, how he's a smart center. Is there an example maybe you can give us from this last weekend that stood out, something he did for you guys?
I would just say his game overall. I mean, every game he seems to be in the good areas of the ice. Like, for example, our first goal right away, I just got on the forecheck and kind of poked a puck loose, and there he was, just swooped right onto it. Like, so things like that, he just puts himself in good positions, which obviously makes it a lot easier for me and Anderson.
Dan and Hunter have played together before in Lincoln. You're kind of the new guy to the line, so to speak. What do you think's allowed you to click with those two right away?
I would say just my speed and overall game. Like, I think we all play a similar game, but almost different. We all think the game fast. We're all smart, so I think it was a pretty smooth transition. And then, like I said earlier, just hanging out in the dorms together, like we're like super good friends. We clicked like really quick, so I think that plays a big role. And we talk a lot on the ice, so that helps.
What do you think of Alaska as a first college trip? That's what you'll remember.
Yeah, it'll definitely be one I remember. It was cool to experience it. I'm not too sure I could live there, but it was cool to see it. Yeah.
Ryan, when you got here and you got booked with those two, did you tell they played together before?
Yeah, I would say so. I knew they were good friends coming in, so I could definitely tell. Yeah.
How do you go about when you got guys like that that have chemistry already and play together? How do you go about not being the third wheel and making yourself a really important cog in that line?
Yeah, I think it's just playing dominant. I mean, they touch the puck, they do good things, but instead of just sitting, like if I were to come in and just be like all this kind of hang out in the high ice and hope they find me, that'd probably be how I'd be the third wheel like that. So I think it's just keep playing my game. Don't try and like back off and be like you two go. I think I compliment them well. They compliment me well, and just playing with confidence, I think.
The head coach said there was a sewer ball game where you're waiting to leave for the airport after the game Saturday.
There was.
One.
I think Bod's won.
Yeah.
Just curious. You can say one.
Close second.
How close?
I would have liked to see a little bit more effort out of him. That's all I got to say.
Ryan, for you, how did September practice help you build confidence and get you ready for last weekend?
It did a lot, actually. I remember coming in, I guess, in the back of my mind, you never know if you're – obviously my summer training went well, but I didn't skate with any D1 players, so I was, like, not too sure what it'd be like. But I think the September I really thought my speed was up there, and it really gave me a lot of confidence. Just I didn't feel like I was super far behind. I felt like I was fit right in well, so going into the game, I wasn't nervous at all. I actually had quite a bit of confidence knowing that I could keep up with my teammates, and I think it helped a lot.
Ty, is there a difference between being a sophomore and being a freshman? This time last year, this group was coming in really talented, but still kind of unknown at this level. But now it feels like that group knows what they're getting into. They're kind of driving the team forward. Have you felt that? Is that noticeable from where you were last year?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just the familiarity with the college game. Obviously, last year coming in as a freshman, you don't really know how it's going to be. You talk to some older guys, and they give you a hint of what it's going to be like, but you never really know until you do it. So I think just having that step now this year, it's big already.
What are some of the things that is it the speed of it, the size of the guys, strength of the guys? What really stood out to you from the jump?
I think the kind of a combination of it all. Everything's just a little bit faster. Everybody's just a little bit stronger. You have to make that play a little bit faster, and it's just kind of the game management piece of it too. Knowing if you're up a goal with 6 minutes left, you got to get that puck deep instead of making a move at the line, or just kind of little things like that.
This is for Ty. What is it kind of like? You're a sophomore preparing for a team you had it maybe last year against Stone Hill, preparing for a team that you haven't even played before.
Mm-hmm.
Like what goes into your preparation leading up to a game on Friday?
I don't think it changes a whole lot. You're kind of still preparing like you're playing anybody that you've played a million times. You're just kind of got to go through your routine the same way. The coaches do a good job of preparing us for things they do and things we have to look for, and I think you don't really change a whole lot in what you do.
Ty, it's the first season you're wearing an A on your sweater. What does that mean to you, and what kind of responsibility do you put on yourself to be one of the leaders for this team?
Yeah, it's a huge honor to wear that A. I've kind of grown up in this program for my whole life, so it's kind of a surreal moment to be able to wear a letter for this team. And I think the responsibilities don't change a ton from what I do. It's kind of just you're more involved with the coaching staff and kind of giving them tips and pointers and helping the young guys out too is kind of a big role as well.
And then you got to experience it last year. Obviously, Amsoil Arena can get pretty rough when the team's doing well. Brian, I'll ask both of you guys, how excited are you guys for that first home series, and how important is it to take care of business at Amsoil Arena this season?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, playing in front of Amsoil crowd is something you can't really paint a picture of it, and yeah, we just want to win for them to keep them coming back and keeping that crowd rowdy.
Yeah, I would say I'm just excited. I've heard nothing but great things. I know the guys in the room have told me a million times that coming out for that first game, Max is telling me I'll get goosebumps. So things like that just make me excited, and excited to finally see it for myself.
You guys have a better view of it than I think Coach does, but I asked him, the road trips build a camaraderie. He said there was that Super Bowl game, but not much else. Obviously, you guys are staying in the rooms with each other. Is there anything that, on the ice, off the ice, that you guys kind of sticks out from this past weekend of like, hey, we've known each other for a few weeks now, but now we are kind of forming into more of a team here?
I think just you're almost basically living with a group of 26 guys. You're knowing kind of how they wake up, what they do in the morning, what they're eating. It's kind of just you just kind of get to know each other on a different level.
Brian, did you see a game here before?
No, I've never seen a game here. No,
Okay.
no.
When did you do your official visit?
Yeah, I came on a visit early October.
Okay.
It was actually exactly 2 years ago to the
Okay.
day of when we played Alaska on Friday. So
Okay.
they started a week later last year, or 2 years ago. So I didn't get to see a game.
Okay. Ty, who's your favorite Bulldog growing up?
It's a tough. Probably Jack Connolly.
Jack Conn.
Yeah.
Anything else? Great, thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.